What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a new video. Please make sure to like and subscribe down below if you are new around here. So that being said, I already did a Senate and a House prediction along with the presidential prediction, which was the first video that I uploaded on this YouTube channel, but I've never done a gubernatorial prediction yet, which is kind of important, especially when it comes down to what we're going to see later this year, because there are some races here that are going to be very competitive, and there's some states that are not going to be very competitive at all. So that being said, given the polls, that some of these states are kind of wacky when it comes down to that. So that being said, let's start filling them out. Republicans, most of these are going to be holds with only really one potential pickup for the Republicans. So that being said, let's fill it out. Republicans are going to hold all these states, very high numbers, and Vermont by a safe margin. Vermont's not a red state, but you got Phil Scott, who's a Republican incumbent, and he's going to go out there, and he's going to outperform Joe Biden and Donald Trump, more likely than not, at the top of the ticket. And Democrats, on the other hand, they're going to hold Washington and Delaware. Now, I'd watch the margin in Washington, because Washington could very well get closer. They have a good candidate running. And usually and first of all, Washington's an open seat. The current governor's retiring. I will put her name on the screen. I can't remember her exact name, but yeah, she is indeed retiring. And that's a very good thing. It opens up the possibility for a potential close race, but at the end of the day, Washington is not going to flip. So I just want to get that out of the way. Washington state is not going to flip. Now we have Montana and New Hampshire and North Carolina. Montana, this is the one that's going to come down to how much Trump is going to win the state by. I'd say Trump takes the state by like 12, and then John Forte will win by two or 3 or 4 points less than what Trump wins the state by, so around 7 to 10, I would say John Forte will win by, because Montana is a state that is moving to the right. We know this. And it's a state that is going to vote for Donald Trump in very high numbers. And next up is the state of New Hampshire. Chris Sununu, he is retiring, thankfully. He's a very bad governor. He's not the best governor in the country. But there is something I want to touch on when it comes to the polls. So when it comes down to the polling, which you can see here, if we scroll all the way down, Kelly Ayotte is favored to win over Joyce Craig and over Cindy Warmington, however you pronounce that name. I don't even know how you pronounce that name. But Kelly Ayotte is leading over both of the candidates, which is a very good thing for her. She's also a former senator, so she's already won the state before. And she's out there campaigning against him, and it's working pretty well. I haven't seen any polling with Chuck Morse, but it doesn't really matter. Chuck Morse is likely not going to win the primary anyway, especially since Ayotte's already over 50% in the polling aggregate. So I really don't think that's going to be a close race. I think Ayotte's going to go out there. Ayotte's going to win the primary, and she's going to go on to win the general election. So that seat's going to go safe R, or not safe R. It's going to go, I'd say, lean R. Kelly Ayotte's, the polls show that she's going to win by like 9, but honestly, I think it's going to be more like 3 to 4. And then North Carolina is another state that is worth talking about when it comes down to the polls, because I just think so many people have the wrong takeaways on this state. So here we are on the North Carolina gubernatorial election page, and if we scroll all the way down to the polling for the general election, the Cook Political Report has it lean D. However, Josh Stein, compared to Roy Cooper at least appeared to be somewhat moderate for the state. Who do you think, in their right mind, a true conservative independent is going to come back, or Josh Stein's going to come around? He's already won state. Josh Stein's won statewide, but he won by less than a point over a no-name candidate, and that was Jim O'Neill. However, Mark Robinson, as you can see, is leading in mostly every poll with Josh Stein, where Josh Stein is either tied or leading in only about 4 of these polls. So it looks very good for Robinson. However, obviously those margins are going to get narrower as we get to the general election, but as we know, the North Carolina Republicans, they know how to win, and they know how to win right. So if everything is going in the way that the polls look like, you're going to see Mark Robinson go out there, and you're going to see Robinson barely, but he will flip this seat. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you're new here. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your day.